I know. I can only see you, Mama D.
Views expressed on this
Isn't
show
it
are
scary?
the views of the host
Wonderful.
and their guests. This absolutely does not reflect back
So when
on
you coming
ZTalk
up?
or anything else. So
You know
Yes, they're
what?
live.
keep in mind, they are just these people's opinions and their views. Thank you.
Oh, shit. He's got me on camera. Man, that's not good. I didn't fix
Hello,
my hair.
everyone. It's time for the TNT show. I'm Teresa, and I have my host with me, Tina. How are you, Tina?
Hello. I'm good. How are you, my friend?
I'm great. And we have a beautiful, wonderful guest tonight, Mama D.
I'm so geeked.
Everybody knows her as Mama D.
Hey, everybody. Hello, ladies.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
You still have snow?
I'm behaving myself.
Why?
Ish.
You're on the wrong show if you're behaving yourself.
Right?
No. I'm on the right show. If we were on Tuesday nights, then I would be on the wrong show.
True.
That's very true.
Last night show you go on the wrong show.
That's what she just said, huh?
Yes. So how are you? Do you still have snow? I know that's a swear word, but
Yes. Yeah, it's a four-letter word that begins with an S. Yes, I do still have snow.
oh, that's
I'm
very
so
sad.
sorry. I've got beautiful
Okay,
flower trees.
George in the chat room just said Mama D has that voice for adult talk. That I did one of those Facebook things where it tells you what you're good at, and the last thing said Mama D knows how to talk dirty. Well, my son saw that post and he put on a gift that kind of went no and shut the door.
I like the one with
Not
where the little
impressed
toddlers.
his mama knowing how to talk dirty.
I like the one where the little toddler's coming through and he starts to go into the door and it's like he sees something and goes, oh, and then turns around and goes the other way.
Oh, that's funny. That one's funny.
So how have you been? We haven't actually talked to you in a while. I mean, we chat on Facebook, but we haven't talked to you in a while.
No, the last time we spoke was when you and that adorable husband of yours was on my show.
That's true.
Which is now no longer for the moment, but it will be coming back. I have been, hi BD. Okay, I'm going to have to try and keep track of the chat room as well as talk. It's going to be two things at one time. I'm not very good at that.
Okay, we're all multitasking. Bear with us.
No, I'm in my office and I'm trying to find how to set up my computer. So we're all on the same boat, I think.
I had Jay set mine up for me.
Smart.
Well, I haven't, remember I haven't done this in a few months, so I'm like, duh.
That's right, you haven't done it in a little while.
No, I've been good. I have been waiting for my show to get back on air because I do miss it. You know, the Facebook Lives are fun, but my show was something that I really, really enjoyed because I made sure that people got to shine their lights, and that's what I like doing. That's why I'm always in the chat room sharing as much as I can, except when somebody takes over my job. Jay
took over her job last night on the radio show.
Yeah.
Mama D always like drops everybody's links in the chat room, and she is awesome for it.
Well, I said I'm a shareaholic, and I'm quite pleased to be that and proud to be one.
Absolutely, and you should be. I wait to see what Jay shares, and because it pulls up on my feed real quick, and I just share what he shares.
That's kind of dangerous. You never know what he's going to share.
Yeah, especially with the last time you shared something on your post, on your thing. You said the best way to was every time the husband's always right. Excuse me. No.
Oh, and do you know that he was sitting next to me? I was driving and could not respond.
I know, because that's when he said that. I was like, no. I saw it, and no. You know, like, no, it doesn't work.
Right?
That's okay. My husband understands the same thing. He thinks he's in charge. I allow him to think he's in charge, and that's when I'm not home, he's in charge.
Right.
Actually, I think the cat and the dog are more in charge.
That's funny. Oh my gosh. So, for those in our room in the chat that may not know you, tell us a little bit about you.
Okay. I am Mama D, also known as Darlene. I have been married for 35 years. No, I've known my husband for 35 years. We've been married 31. I have 3 beautiful children. I created the persona of Mama D in 2012 when my daughter had a long conversation with me saying, Mom, I need to talk to you. And until I'm done, you can't talk. And that's like non-code in our house saying, okay, this is a big one. And she told me how she connected to spirit, and she thought that I was going to lock her up in a rubber room. And she said, okay, now you can lock me up, Mommy. And I was like, no, because if I do that, then I'll be at the room right next door to you.
Right.
So I created Mama D because at the time I hadn't told all my family about reopening to the spirit, to the universe, and I didn't want my bosses to know. Now I could care less with who knows. But so my husband's family, in their family, the mothers and grandmothers were called Mama and whatever the first name was. And so Mama D just fit perfectly.
Aww.
And that's how I created Mama D, the name Mama D. And for many, many years, my kids and their friends, mostly their friends, would come to me and ask questions. Hello, Jason. That's Jade laughing again.
I can hear him.
Their friends would come to me and ask me questions and talk to me, and I would just, I kind of knew instinctively things to say to them, and with the vast amount of experience I've had in my life, it was easy to understand these kids, and I just sort of carried on from there. And I do that now, and I enjoy helping people, and I think it's something that we all need to do, because the kids are our future. There's so much that I'm going to be 57 this year, and it's like I'm not past my prime. I'm in my prime.
There you go.
But there's little ones coming up, and where I have my day job, I see the nonsense that goes on with these young ones. One moment they're madly in love with each other, and next week is, oh my God, he didn't put down the seat on the toilet. I'm leaving him. It's like, excuse me. A marriage, a relationship like that it's something to work on. It's not just like all smooth sailing. So it's like, get your shit together, people. So people ask me questions, and I good at what I do with telling them what to do. I sit on the fence, and I give them both sides of the fence. I don't tell people what to do. I give them both sides of the fence as to what could happen if they do this, or what could happen if they do that. And
almost kind of like a life coach.
It's Mama. It's just
you're being the mama to everybody.
Exactly. I have grown men coming into my store going, hey, Mama, how's it going? It's like, I go grocery shopping, and I have one gentleman who used to work at my grocery store, and he worked at the last cash, and all of a sudden I'd come in the store and I'd hear screaming, hey, Mama D, how's it going? Oh, jeez Louise. But it's okay. I got him back. I had a friend Facebook Live video him when I sent him a non-sprinkled donut, thank you, George, for his birthday at the cash with candles and the whole spiel. So he cried, and I was like, cool, I got him back.
George won't eat a non-sprinkled donut.
George has enough sprinkles to last a lifetime. Oh, my God.
That is what I saw.
I mean, was that a gift or was that a torture? They sent him all those sprinkles. I don't know who's enjoying them. Well, I know George is enjoying the sprinkles, but Kara's probably kind of going, oh, my God, enough sprinkles, child.
Oh, didn't you see the live the other night where he dropped some on the counter? He said it was a few, and she said it was a lot more than a few. So that was really funny.
I don't care. That even if it's like, the sprinkles are tiny. They can slide under counters. They can go. It's a mess.
Right.
And I'm sure George didn't clean it all up. Really, did he? But 10 to 1, Kara's still finding sprinkles around somewhere.
Right. Hey, Sandy.
It's like, was that friends who sent it to him?
That's funny. So, do you do readings, investigating? What is your ball of wax?
My ball. Okay, if you're gonna stick me into, if people try and always say, well, who are you? What do you do? Are you a medium? Are you a psychic? I consider myself a healer because no matter what, the way I look at it, no matter what you do, whether you're doing psychic readings or mediumship or doing cards or Reiki healing or even paranormal investigators, everybody does a healing of some sort, whether it's a physical, a spiritual, or an emotional. Everybody's healing, like when you guys do paranormal investigations, you heal because you heal the families that you're helping when you do private investigations, or you can heal the spirits sometimes when you go to the investigations. Okay, some are a little special. They don't need healing. They need a good swift kick up the butt.
Right.
But that's the ones that miss my babies, But I am... Okay, wait a second. Heather says, Mama, do you have a great ASMR voice? And I'm getting really chill and tingles. Oh, I'm sorry. And what is ASMR?
I don't know. Heather, drop that in there. What's ASMR?
Yes, you'll have to put that one in.
I bet it's audio.
So I audio something, or I think it has something. I've seen they were saying like somebody was eating a pickle and it was supposed to be, here's a magic word, titillating. I was like, no, okay. I don't think eating a pickle is titillating, but
no, not at all. Not for me anyway.
Not for me either.
Doesn't do a thing for me.
The eating part, but not the sounds. The eating part, yes, but not the sound.
Right.
Okay, so if you just heard something fall, my dog in the background just dropped his phone, so he's going to get down and get it.
Aww.
Yeah, so I do readings with cards. They are my tool of choice.
Mm-hmm.
But there's always something extra. There's always something a little bit more. When I send healing, when I do Reiki, oh gosh, Reiki was my first actual training. I used to, when I first started, when Mama D first came on the scene, I used to just send Mama D hugs. And a gentleman came to me and says, okay, there's the word. Autonomous sensory meridian. Oh, good Lord, you're expecting me to read this without glasses. Something. Autonomous sensory meridian response. I think I'll have to look into that.
We'll have to figure out what that means. Heather told us what it is. Now let's figure out what it means. Homework for the night.
Here we go.
Come on, Heather. You can't be using big phrases like that and not explain them.
Right? That's just not acceptable.
Not acceptable.
Makes the rest of us feel bad.
This is not the class level. As I like things to be simple and very easy, just down to earth. But so a gentleman in the chat room private messaged me and says, "Why do you send hugs? So why don't you send Reiki?" I said, "Well, where I am, I live in Quebec, for those who don't know me, and that's like we'll say a good 80% French, and because us 20%ers like to keep it in there a little life. But if I'm going to study something, I want to study something in a language that I understand. So yes, I do speak French, but when I'm reading or I'm learning something, I'll explain the butterflies later, PD.
Yeah, that was one of my next questions.
Mm-hmm.
I said the butterflies was my next question.
When I'm learning something, I want to make sure it's in a language that I can understand 100% without having sort of translated in my head, because that's what I do with French. I'll translate it in my head. And so I said, I want it in English. There's nobody here that I know of that does it. And I've looked at the prices, and it's very expensive. And he was like, oh, okay, makes sense. And then he went away. And about 3 days later, he came back to me and said, okay, I have a deal for you. And I was like, the cynical part of me goes, He says, I will attune you to Reiki second level on one condition. And there goes my head going, okay, he wants like naked pictures and stuff like that. No, It's just not going to happen, dude. Right?
Yeah.
And he says, you have to promise to give back. And I was like, I do that anyway. And he says, no, you have to promise. I said, I promise. I will give back. And that's when David became my Reiki master. And he attuned me to the second level. with him. I got my master's with his wife, who is his master. And to me, Reiki is a great healing tool, but for some reason, it's just a foundation. I've been doing healing without realizing I was doing healing for the longest of time. And so, it's just sort of added to it.
You and I have the same story there. I didn't know that I was doing it. I just knew what I needed to do.
Yeah, exactly. And I asked my Reiki master one time, I said, why? Why did you come to me? Why did you choose me? And he told me, and I understood what he's saying. And I still have not difficulty in believing it, but still kind of sort of difficulty in believing it. He went into a deep meditation, and he was meditating with me in mind, and the Ascended Masters came to him. This is his story, and came to him and said, I was an Ascended Master. She is one. She just doesn't remember it, so you have to help her. And I was like, I still don't remember it, but, I'm very thankful that, he started me on a path that allows me to help.
Wow.
And, okay, how do butterflies came into this?
Yes.
I think that is my most favorite story, if it is. A friend of mine, she lives in Australia, and we'd been talking for a while, and her son was born with kidney issues, and this little munchkin was 18 months old, and he had to go for blood tests like very, very often. And we all know 18-month-old children do not like having a needle shoved into their arm or anywhere else for that matter.
Well, this adult doesn't like it either.
It's like, ouch. So I had been speaking to him because I Skyped with his mom, and we would talk, and so he got to know me. And so one time she said, Mama, can you help me? And she explained that he was going in for a battery of blood tests and whatever, and he usually has a nuclear meltdown. And I was like, he's a boy, and he's going in for shots. So, yeah, okay, not a problem. So I said to her, okay, when he's about to get his injection, the needle put in, I said, tell him that Mama sent him a friend, but he has to sit very, very quiet, and he has to just move his head and look around until he finds the friend I sent him. And I told her what I was doing, but I said to her, you have to whisper to him, and you have to tell him he's got to be very, very still, and he's got to tell me what it is at the end. So I sent healing and strength and all the other fun things that I send on the wings, as I call them, on the wings of butterflies. And it just sort of came to me naturally. And she called me at the end of her day, and she said to me, he sat there completely still. The nurses had no problem giving him drawing the blood, and his head was the only thing that moved, and the other arm, which was not involved in the blood test, he opened and closed it and said, flutterby, which is the way little kids say butterfly.
Right.
I was like, he didn't know I was sending butterflies. I didn't have as many butterflies as I do now in all my live videos. Mm-hmm. So it was something that clicked, and then he had to go into ICU for something, and he was, an 18-month-old child who was just bored silly. There was nothing he could do. His mother had to go in all wrapped up, and so make sure he didn't get any, cross-contamination in the germs and whatever. So I said, okay, tell him Mama's sending somebody to play with him. So one day his mom went into the hospital to see him, and the nurses sort of pulled her aside and said, we think there's something wrong with him. He's having issues. And she's like, what are the issues? And he's talking to somebody who's not there. And we're like, this is an 18-month-old child. Wait, seriously, what do you do? What are you talking about? And she says, he's playing hide and go seek. So she's like, what do you mean she's playing hide? Because he was in his bed. So how is he? He would sit on his bed, and he would put one finger in front of his face and hide behind it, and then play peekaboo with the butterflies. And he said butterflies were all over his room, and it's what I sent. So he was playing with the butterflies. So the butterflies just became a natural part of who I am and what I do. You know, even now, I will send, depending on the type of healing that's needed, will just depend on the butterflies that go with. But basically, when people need to relax and calm down, it's like, okay, you take a breath, and I will send you butterflies that will land on your nose and just send you little butterfly kisses all over, and they'll feel the tingling sensation, and it'll be nothing but just calm after that. So, and that's where the butterflies came in.
That is an amazing story.
That's
I've got
beautiful.
like goosebumps on my arms.
Mm-hmm.
From you
That was
telling
beautiful.
That was
Thank you.
amazing.
Oh.
And I
Sam in the chat room says ASMR is a calming, pleasurable feeling, often accompanied by a tingling sensation. The tingle is said to originate in the person's head and spread to the spine and limbs and in response to stimulation. Thank you, Professor Sam.
Right? Oh, wow.
Well, I have had people tell me that I have a good voice for doing meditation, but to me, most meditation is, it's got to be either people create it and they write it up and they read it, and I cannot. When I read, I'm like tripping over my tongue. I can't read out loud. I've never been good at that. But if I can do it off the top of my head, and then I'm good. But in general, I got a voice for radio and ASMR.
Right? You've got an ASMR voice.
You definitely have a voice for radio. I'm really looking forward to when you get your show back on the air. I could listen to you for days. I love the sound of your voice. I always have.
We have a question in the chat room. Margie wants to know, how does one stop the chatter from meditating?
You don't stop it. You just accept it. And trust me, there's a lot of chatter that goes on in this brain. You know, I just kind of say, you know, it's like when I'm sitting down and I first start, it's like, okay, I've got to do dishes and I've got this event coming up and I've got that coming up. I was like, yeah, okay, I've got to do dishes. They'll still be there when I'm done with, you know, I started with a 5-minute. I start with a 5-minute meditation when I first started meditating, and for 5 minutes, it's impossible to clear your mind of all kinds of stuff. So it's like just one thing at a time. I accept each thing at a time. And it's like, okay, yep, dishes will still be there when I'm done. Okay, the dog and the cat are fine. You know, the event will still be there for me to plan once I'm done. I just sort of, yep, okay, you're there. Now just take a deep breath. You know, and I also focus on, for me, it helps to focus on something else. If I focus on my breathing, some people will focus on a light. I can't do that because I, as a child, used to stare into light bulbs. So lights affect my eyes now, and not a good way.
Okay.
So it's just you find something else to focus on. And when something does cross your mind, just like, okay, yeah, cool, not a problem, and just, you know, go on with it. Thank you, Margie.
Well, somebody had told me when I first started meditating, I was like, okay, I can't do this. So I lay here and am trying to concentrate and let it go, and I just keep thinking of everything, like you said, that I need to do. And they said, when it comes in, let it come in, and then just put it in a basket, and you'll get it later. Just act like you're putting it in a basket, and you'll pick it up later.
Ooh, I like that one.
I was like, okay.
I always told people that when they had a hard time trying to calm themselves to meditate, to start with shower meditation, because it gave you something else. Like, I mean, even with guided meditation, unless they have a voice like Mama D, it's hard to focus sometimes on what's being said, and it's hard to envision. So if you can do a shower meditation, it's 5 minutes. You can focus on the water and use your other senses. And I find that that's a really good way to get started with meditation, at least. At least then you've got just even 5 minutes is better than nothing, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly. And the thing is, I had a client over the other day, and she's like, no, I can't just sit there and do nothing. I said, meditation is not just sitting there or laying there and zenning out, listening to music and doing your breathing. I said meditation can be done in many ways. One of the ways I meditate, and please don't ever tell my husband, is I meditate when I'm doing dishes because it's automatic. There's no real thinking involved. The water is running. My hands are in it. It's automatically how you wash a plate, how you wash a pot there. It's all automatic. So other things sort of disappear. You don't think about, the idiot that came across your path during your work, or Jay left the toilet seat up again, and it's like, I'm a pick on Jay, sure, and it's just for me, washing dishes is where I can start. So I'll start, as weird as it sounds, I will start my mornings off doing dishes. I'll get up, I'll get dressed, I'll do what I got to do, and then I'll go and I make sure I leave myself some dishes and then from the night before to do in the morning. So I will, focus for 5 minutes. I'll just do some dishes, and that just sort of brings me, chill for the day, and I can go to work and torture people. Yeah.
I was talking to Deb Lance several years ago, and she said that she goes, Teresa, have you ever been just folding a load of laundry, and all of a sudden it's completely done, and you're like, wow, where did that, I don't remember. I guess I zoned out or whatever. I said, yeah. She says, that was a form of meditation.
Yeah.
It was a repetitive thing that you did that you didn't need to concentrate on. And I was like, oh, cool. Because
it's like knitting or crocheting, something that people do automatically. Like my mom, she would knit and crochet, and it would be nothing for her. I can't even crochet a straight line or knit a straight line, forget that stuff. But my mom was really a great knitter, and she could just sit there and do it, watch TV and do it without thinking about it. Or she could be, just sitting there quietly. So it's something that you find people who are artists, who draw, who paint and draw, they do it without thinking. It's not it's not a chore to do it. It's just something that they sort of, without realizing it, you empty your mind and you do what you do. Whether it's, like I said, whether it's doing dishes or folding laundry or, crocheting, knitting, painting, it just happens. It brings you to you. So, yeah.
Have you ever talked to Jay about a guided meditation?
Talk to Jay about a guided meditation?
Have you ever heard him talk about one? He gets so angry with a guided meditation, it works him up to a tizzy, because it's like, okay, you're walking through the woods, and he says he can picture the woods, and they're walking through them, and then they're telling me what I can't stand
those.
Well, yeah, he says they're telling me what to think, and then when they start telling me, then I have to concentrate on what they're saying. Yeah. If they would just shut up, maybe I could do it.
Oh my God, that's funny.
I was like, okay, that's
not
the purpose.
You know what I did? I did for somebody once. They said the same thing, and I've only found one. I can't find it anymore. I only found one guided meditation that worked for me. But somebody once said that same thing, and I was like, okay, let's try this. I made a recording of my voice, just the voice, and no music or anything, counting from 30 down. And they didn't have to follow. He didn't have to follow anything. It was just breathing, because when I would count, I would just give time for the breath, and that was it. And he liked it. He was able to meditate with that, and I think he used it once or twice, and then after that, it was an automatic thing. So that's something that Jay can try. Is find a countdown. Okay, not the screamo countdown, and not a heavy metal count. Right. Something that's simple enough for him, and just count it down. Because you're not following anything, you're kind of sort of waiting for the next number, but eventually it just sort of falls into place where it's like a domino, slow motion domino.
So you don't have to think about it really.
Exactly.
That's a great idea.
Okay, Marge in the chat room. When you start your Reiki sessions, how do you get into Reiki before you start working on somebody? Oh, I like that one. Well, it's example, Monday, I had a client. It was a very new client, and she messaged me, and she had a lot of chatter going on, and I was like, okay, we're not going to have a conversation about this. You're going to come to the house. and we're going to have a conversation in person. Because typing, again, here's another word, inflection does not work its way into a type conversation. And half the time I make spelling errors, like big time. So I don't, that's why I'm a radio host, not a print journalist.
Right.
And for me, when I finish work, I leave all my work stuff at work. It does not come home with me. No matter how stressful the day is, when I walk outside the door at work, I just take a deep breath and I say, okay, y'all get to stay here and I get to go home. And then someone's got the hiccups.
That's me. I'm sorry.
It's not me this time.
It's okay. No, I thought it was Tina.
I tried to pull the microphone away so you wouldn't hear it.
That's okay. They're cute. Well, hopefully I don't sneeze and then we're okay. But I just, again, to me, it's just simple. I just know, I've got to sort of focus my energies on clearing myself, because I can't help somebody else if there's too much crap going on in my head.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do is, once I get home, I do my usual routine. I put the dog out, I feed the animals, and then I light my sage, and I just sort of stand in the middle of the room and I crank up the music. And for me, it doesn't have to be meditation music. It doesn't have to be soothing music. It can be something that just sort of clear, like one of my favorite songs, I have no idea why, is Sitting on the Dock of the Bay.
Oh, I love that song.
And I could just play that and crank it up. And then there's another song that I can't remember the name of the girl who sings it. It's called, I think it's called Rise Up. But there's two songs that I'll just sit there and play over and over in my head. And it just sort of clears out all the cobwebs. And then I'm set to go. And I say my prayer. I have my team. I ask for help and guidance, and I keep,
So do you
and I
sage
just,
every day when you come home?
Sorry?
Do you sage every day when you come home?
No, I only sage when I know I'm having a client over, or I'm doing a reading, or sending healing.
Okay.
And that's just sort of like an extra boost, because everything is done. Most people see when I do my Facebook Lives from home. My office is my Zen place. Okay, right now the desk looks like, a tornado went through it. But it's my place where I get to have my peace and quiet. Nobody but the dog and the cat come in here, unless you're coming in for a healing or a reading. Or it's my daughter, and she's got like free access to come in and look and see what new crystals Mommy has. Yeah.
So speaking of crystals, what's your favorite crystals?
Sorry?
What are your favorite crystals?
Oh, my go-to, my be-all, my end-all is the amethyst. And again, it's the purple. It's, if you guys, most of the stuff that I do, it's got purple and it's got blues in it. Mm-hmm. But the purple is an amazing, my room. People go, oh, is it pink? No, it's a light shade of purple. It's like a lilac purple. And it's just, certain things just sort of sat with me. It's like the butterflies. There's no such thing as a real, purple butterfly, but everything works for me with the purple. I got butterflies, my nails, it just, I don't know. Purple is my thing, and amethyst was the stone I went to. I will go into my store, where my spiritual store. I can go in there and I can stand for hours in between. They have like a U-shaped table that is filled with every kind of crystal imaginable. Probably there's more, but I mean, I'm like in heaven, and I'll just sit there and run my hands over it and close my eyes, and without any realizing it, I always stop at the amethyst. I've never questioned it. It's there, mm-hmm. and we connect. So that's mm-hmm. It's my go-to baby.
Everybody's got that one stone that they just resonate with more than others.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I have a whole bunch of different stones, but that's my go-to thing. If somebody says, "What kind of stone do you like?" Amethyst. I can pretty much, if you put I had a friend who put like 5 different stones in under a cover of something, and I was like, okay. She goes like, okay, choose your crystal. I was like, well, I can't see them. She goes, no, just put your hand over this thing. Okay, that's a new one for me. And of course, I did the crystal. I think there was 5, and and I stopped at the amethyst. I said, that one's nice. I said, I don't know what it is, but it's nice. The energy I got from my hand was like, it was fun. It was like, brain fart, butterflies dancing on my hand. It's just that energy I got. And then she uncovered it, and everything else was there, and it was just what I stopped over was the amethyst.
Wow. See, my favorite is malachite.
I have one. I think it's malachite. Yes, I believe it is. When I first started, when I first opened up to everything that I do, I had a gentleman who used to work for a crystal store, and he had a gift for me, and he brought me a piece of raw malachite. I think it's malachite. I'll be sure. And it's from China. And I was told not to play with it because it's raw. Right. It's got all the whatever. And they said, don't play with it. So it sits on top of my computer desk in my bedroom because nobody goes there. Even the cat doesn't even go on top of the computer desk. And it's absolutely gorgeous. It's this tiny little piece, no bigger than, I'll say maybe a quarter. And even that might be too big, but it's the energy that it gives off is just like totally awesome. I'll take a picture of it and send it to you.
I would love to see it because I absolutely love malachite. I carry one in my pocket every single day. I think Tina's seen me carry them since we've met.
Tina, what is yours?
I wear mine. I either have labradorite or I carry my smoky quartz in my pocket. But
I've got this new thing. It's great for Reiki healers. Oh, come on. Herkimer diamond.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
And I got one, but the thing I really want to do is go to Herkimer, New York and dig up my own. There is that possibility that friend of my daughter's, she makes these awesome bracelets, and she goes worldwide finding her somebody's sweethearts in the chat room.
I just saw that.
Yeah, see that too. And she goes everywhere, and she wants to go to Herkimer, New York to get her diamonds and to make her own new bracelets and whatnot. I was like, let me know when, because then I'll just sort of bribe my husband with like food up the like en masse, and go, here, honey, you're gonna stay there for like the weekend, and I'm going, bye.
There you go. Margie wants to know, what do you do to cleanse your stones? How do you cleanse your stones?
My stones, well, where I get them, when I get them, they come in a little bag with sage. Every stone is put into a separate little bag with sage. I get them, I come home, I put them out for the moon and the sun to have their magic and have their way with my crystals. But my crystals, I don't, other than sitting on the window ledge for the moon and the sun to do their thing with them, I don't do anything specific with them. Mm-hmm. I sit there and for those, because for me, I would rather a raw stone than a tumbled. I do have tumbled stones, but I rather the raw crystals, just not, they don't have to be smooth. Yes, I do have the smooth stones, but it's got to be the raw ones. And I will sit there. It's like with my cards when I get a new deck. I will sit and hold each card. And when you have a deck of 72, that's a long time. You're sitting there and holding the card. Yeah. But the crystals is the same way. And even rocks. My customers, I work at a convenience store, and my customers are always going, oh, we're going to Mexico, we're going here, and I'm never going to get to go to all these places. So I say, okay, bring me back a stone. No buying them, no going anywhere and spending money. you're going to go to the beach, you're going to go on for a walk, wherever, you're going to all of a sudden look down, you're going to see a stone no bigger than like it's an American dollar. And I said, because one time somebody brought me back a rock that was the size of my head. Oh, wow. To find out that it was cursed. And I was like, dude, bring me back a cursed rock. Could we like?
Oh, that's terrible.
Because they didn't ask permission to bring it back. They actually removed it from the hotel without permission. Can we say that?
Oh, God.
And when I spoke to my Reiki master and I showed him a picture of it, he's like, that should not have been removed from where it was. It needs to go back into water. And he says, as quickly as possible. Oh. So at the time I used to take a taxi to work, and my taxi driver says, I'll take care of it. I'll go put it in the lake. I said, great. Okay, cool. I said, it has to get done tonight. Has to go back in ASAP. So yeah, not a problem. That night he forgot, and he left the stone in the cab. The cab caught fire that night.
What?
Oh my God,
yeah.
That's crazy.
So I was like, so he was like, okay, I got the car. He was able to put it out. He says, I got the rock. I can't even call it a rock. It looked like a brain. He says, I got it. I brought it to the lake. He says, put it where it was the most running water. He says, I'm putting this back because Darlene says you belongs back in the water. Because I told him to say that, just sort of like, thank you for visiting me, but it's time to go back.
Right.
And after that, everything was fine.
Wow.
But it was really wild that, the cab caught on fire, and his boss, like, really not happy. He said, what the hell did you do? And he was cursing at him left, right. And he's like, I didn't do nothing.
I didn't
tell him that I left your damn rock in the car. So when bringing me back a rock that big, I was like, just something small. Sometimes people will bring me back seashells or pieces of coral, and for me it's just a rock. I just want a pebble, something about it. So right now I'm holding on to one that somebody didn't realize, but it's in the shape of a heart. It's a black stone with a white piece that goes like white stripe down the middle, and I'll post a picture of it on my Facebook page later. And it's actually got, to me, there's a person in the design of the white, and it's a natural thing. It's not a man-made. So it's like, and everything I get, it's all my stones, all my rocks that are given to me. I had a woman who was going, she goes, I have a big rock that I want to throw away, but I figure I'll give it to you. It was a giant piece of auralite, I think it was called. And it's the thing that somebody said to me, it's worth a lot of money. I was like, I don't care what it's worth. It's pretty and it's purple. It's mine. But yeah, so cleansing my stones, it's not, I don't do something specific. It's just me.
I'll put a piece of selenite in the bowl where I put my stones, so it can help cleanse them. Or when I bring them home, I'll run them under just tepid water and dry them on a white cloth, because that was how I was told to cleanse them the first time.
I'm the same as you, Mama D. I just leave mine out on the miner in my big bay window, and it lets the sun and the moon in. And I have a piece of selenite that sits by every cluster that I have out and about. I have a piece of selenite beside it. So
yeah, I think it's amazing how people don't realize. I had a woman came to me at the store the other day, and she used to work at it's like Salvation Army, but it's called the Saint Vincent de Paul. And they were going through a bag of clothing that was donated to them, and there was these 2 rocks, and the rest of the people, just throw them away. No, give them to Darlene. And it was a giant, huge chunk of selenite, a little wand, but I still call it a huge chunk, and a green crystal that I still haven't had a chance to bring it. It's like to my rock lady. And I'm going to ask her exactly what it is. But I'm going there in a couple of weeks. Spend my afternoon. I try and spend a half a day at my spiritual store once a month, just donating my time just to be there. Just it recharges me, it energizes me. And she's like, my Mama D. She's like, okay, fine, no problem. You're here.
I remember a couple months ago you did a live from your spiritual shop. And I was like, oh, I like that. Oh, I like that one too. I like that. Oh, look at that. Jay's like, oh my gosh. But see,
kind of like me when you brought me to your shop.
Right? But see, mine was like...
Isn't it fun to go to a shop?
Yeah, mine was tiny and it's compact where I go. But the one that you go to, Mama D, is large. And it's very roomy.
Yep.
And that's... Ours is like shoved, like I said, really compact, isn't it, Tina?
Yes, it is. But I love it. Now,
Oh,
where is it? Where is yours, Mama D? In your hometown, or do you have to travel?
Mine is in Joliet. It's about 20 minutes away from me. And so my husband will drop me off. I'll be going on if anybody wants to meet me there, I'll be going on the 26th. He has things that he does in the village. It's about a 20-minute drive from us. And he goes and he spends the afternoon doing his thing. And he drops me off at the shop and he picks me up when he's done his thing. So I spend about, a good 4 hours just sitting there chilling out. And
oh, wow.
I think I love Joliet. It's a really pretty little town.
It is.
Yeah.
It's nice to have somebody else who knows it. Yay!
I do. Yes. My one of my good friends, his ex-wife and son live in Joliet. So when we go to pick up his son, when I go for a visit, I've been there a few times, and I really like it. I really like it.
Well, next time you come up, you're going to have to make sure that you stop on the way either to and or from and see me.
Yes, definitely. It's been probably about 3 years since I've been to Quebec, but I'm long overdue for a visit.
Well, if people want to come to like the big place to party is in Montreal. And Montreal is known as the festival capital.
Oh.
Because we have the Just for Laugh Festival, we have the Jazz Festival, we have the Poutine Festival, we have every kind of festival, beer festival. So, like, you can bring Jason and Jay, and you can leave them at the beer festival, and we will find all the crystal stores.
That sounds
like the perfect vacation.
Doesn't it, though?
And I can eat cheese every day for breakfast, and I'd be the happiest girl on the planet.
Cheese for breakfast?
Oh, I miss Quebec so much. I miss it so much.
Well, I told you. All you got to do is drive up here. You know where to find me.
I know. I just said to Margie's in the chat room. She said, I need to meet her. I said, okay, road trip. Let's go. Road trip. Whoever wants to jump in. I got room for 7 in my vehicle. Let's go.
You might have to only bring up 6 because I might be the 7th to come back. I'm in the process of getting my my passport because I'm being told I need to come down because I've never been to an event like a Paragon event or an investigation. You guys, you have brought me into this, and I'm like, I need to go.
Oh, maybe you'll have it by September and be able to go to the Paranormal Toledo.
Oh, so fun.
And it's an amazing location.
Okay. I think the boys were talking about that last night.
Yeah, probably. Because that's Jason's.
They talked about all kinds of stupid shit yesterday, but it was fun. It was a good day, a good show too.
Yeah, and Joe's
I need to get up there. I need to go to one. I need to check. I'm not sure about an investigation, mind you. Okay, because I have a feeling I'd be the one screaming. You know,
we wouldn't laugh too hard at you. They laugh at me all the time.
Well, trust me. I'm sure I would get picked on. And here's another thing. You guys always pick on, the boys always pick on Tina about her accent. Now, Tina and I are both Canadian, okay? We do not sound at all alike.
No,
but I don't hear the sorry you know. But when you say it, when you guys say it that way, I'm in my head. I go, oh, that's so Ontario. You know, there are certain things like when Tina goes to me, goes, yes, ma'am. I'm going, oh my gosh, that's Ontario, because every province is like every state has a different specialty. You know, it's like, but Tina will be screaming. It's okay, Bob. I'll be screaming too.
You know what? You just remember, you got to sleep beside me in a week there, my friend. So you better be nice.
Right?
You best be nice. Or I'll send butterflies down, and they won't be tickling your fancy with that one. You will not be sleeping. Make sure that.
Draw a mustache on him while he's sleeping.
There you go.
Exactly. Send them down with a Sharpie. Hello, guys. Come on.
Yep. Well, and it's funny because we were at an investigation, and I was Teresa and I were experimenting with someone that was coming through, and she said, oh, the guy, we were at Collingwood, and something about the guy thinks that you're so-and-so. She speaks French. Say something in French. And I looked at her.
She gave me the most evil look.
What do you mean say something? She goes, just say something in French. I'm like, what? Because I'm Canadian, so automatically I know French. Are you kidding me right now? Oh, I was dying. Yeah. I said, say something in Spanish. What do you want from me right now? God, we laughed.
Yeah,
it's funny, all these misconceptions.
Yeah, exactly. And usually everybody, when you say something in French, they go to the song "Voulez-vous coucher avec moi?" So it's like, oh yeah, that's it, you know.
But Tina, go ahead, did you say something in French?
Yeah.
Do you see Brian? Oui. Really? Which is funny because my ex-husband is from Lac-Saint-Jean.
Okay.
And so whenever we would go to Montreal, his cousins used to call him the Lalas, because when you use the word la, it's like the, correct?
Yeah.
Saying that properly. So it would be like saying the after every sentence. It's so bizarre. Yeah. It's old French. Oh my God, we laughed. I'm like, I don't understand what that means. And then they'd laugh at me even harder because I didn't understand what it meant.
Well, my husband is from the States, and when we first went down to the States, his nieces would say, oh my gosh, you've got to teach me some French words so I can swear at people. And I said, the best thing about French is you can say it with a smile on your face, and they will never understand you are cussing them out like a dirty dog that they are. So I taught them some interesting words. And so that's just smile and say, va chez mon école devant chez ça. And, they was like, what?
I'm thinking, gee, that sounded pretty.
And so long as you do it with a smile, nobody knows the difference.
Oh, that's amazing.
So see, even Mama D can cuss. She does it with a smile.
Right?
That's awesome.
Always
that just made my day right there.
There you go.
I understand more than I speak. I can't speak it because I can't conjugate my verbs properly. But my ex is bilingual. All my children are bilingual. So I always bring them with me. Well, my kids, I bring them to Quebec so that they can translate for me, right? Mm-hmm. And it was, he used to talk about me so much with his buddies that it got to the point where I understood what they were talking about. So they couldn't talk bad. They couldn't talk bad about me.
What I like doing is my husband's American. So when we go to a new place, and we always speak in English when we're deciding what we want to order. And one time we went to a fast food restaurant and we were talking, and because I'm speaking English with my husband, I ordered in English. So the girl was like, so she took my order, and when I realized that she was pretending like she didn't understand, I just sort of, my little red-headed moment kind of went, I'm going to do it in French anyway, and in English anyway. And so I did the order in English, and she turned around and she spoke to the other girl saying about the bloody English people and yada yada, and just bad-mouthing us all in French. And I just sat there, and I stood there, and I was very quiet, and I smiled. And when she brought me my order, I said, is your manager here? And she looked at me like I had 3 heads. And then I changed into French, and I said, I'm going to speak to your manager now. And her mouth dropped open, and she was like, And when I spoke to the manager, I spoke in French so that she could understand. And I said what she did was ridiculously irresponsible, because you never know who it is. As far as I'm concerned, everybody should learn both languages, English and French, because Montreal is an international city where people come from all over. So you need to have both languages.
Right. Wow.
And Brian in the chat room, Mama D, how long have you been reading cards? About the same time I reopened up. So in 2012, when the world ended, that's when Mama D became. So I guess since 2012, cards work with me, or I work. Sorry?
Okay, now elaborate on that. Why did you say when the world ended?
Everybody said, in 2012, the world's going to end. And I said, it's going to end as we know it. Things are just going to change. It's not going to be the same old BS. Things will change, And I was like, that's sort of that's the year my daughter had that long conversation with me, 2012. So Mama D became me.
That's hilarious, because that's the year that I started reading again, 2012. And it never dawned on me until you just said that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, a lot of people. You watch the people that post on Facebook. Yep. It was an amazing. Wow. Mama D is not a medium. That's a box that I will not step into. Do I get messages? Yes. But I still consider myself a healer, because what I do heals people's hearts, minds, and souls, and sometimes their bodies.
Right.
But I won't. Because I think a medium. I have. You guys know Eric Glynn. He's an amazing medium. Yes. I do not rank myself in there. So that's I can't. But some people do call me that. So.
Okay. But ladies, I hate to break up this festival, but we have to hang up right now, because Jay needs to get ready for Callie and Sean with Mr.
Wow. That went fast.
It did.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mama D.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. And when I get my show back, you guys are on my show.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, that would be lovely.
Yes, and you're welcome back anytime.
Yes, please, because that went by way too fast.
It did. It did. Well, you guys have a great night, and thank you again, Mama D.
You too.
Night,
okay,
everyone.
thanks, guys. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.